Good evening, students. So, after the two chapter completion, we are going to enter into third chapter. Before that, let me finish one thing. That few questions you have raised related with the previous chapters. That separate video for related with this particular queries I'll make and I'll send you. But let me finish first, or let me enter the third chapter, then I'll just discuss on that. Those questions which you have asked me that you cannot solve, a little bit difficult, that I will say, but if you prepare by your own, it will be means clarified to you too, and it will be easy for you too. But apart from this, as you have doubt, so I'll discuss on that. Okay. But today I'm going to discuss about third chapter. Okay, the name is little bit funny, that how a mountain can eat people. But why the name has given, that later one will come true. Is it that really the mountain is eating? How mountain can eat? It's not a living things that can eat or all. Okay, but the name has given. The writer Hema, she is actually believe on the folk tales, folklores and all. Okay, folk means what? That the stories of the native land. Is it people are creating those stories? It is not real. It cannot be real. Sometimes it can be related with the reality, but not real at all. Okay, so folk tales means people are creating some stories. She especially loves to translate the Japanese folk tales, okay, into English. She is a writer best mainly for the children's. Okay, so children's book she used to publish, and her writing is based on the Japanese folk tales. As I said, folk tales. Folk means folk means what? Folk means the story, native stories. Clear? So, chapter name is the mountain that ate people. Okay, and as I said, folk tales means the native stories. Okay, folk tale, native stories, the native stories. Now, here as I said, Hema used to write on the Japanese folk tales. Is it? So, here one story we will going to know about, that a place where the landlord of that particular place actually don't want any senior citizen, means up to 61, those who have aged person like 61, they don't want, or he particularly don't want any aged person in his town or place. He want everyone to be young, so that he can lead the generation properly. For him, old people cannot do any work. Old people cannot do any work. They are actually meant for annoyance, disturbance. They known as disturbance. As you, the people become aged, that means they don't have any work. They cannot do any work. What they can do, they just can make annoyance, and they can just disturb people. So he made a rule that, or sent a decree that people those who have aged means 61 or cross 61, they cannot live in that particular town. Related with that person, the family members themselves will take them to a mountain and leave them there in the hand of nature. Means whatever will happen with them, can be the wild animals can eat them, or if they survive they have to stay there only. Means it's a kind of punishment. As you crossed the age 61, that means you are not allowed to stay in that particular town. He made a rule like that, and the family members themselves will send them on that particular mountain. If they don't, what can happen? He will be just tortured that particular family, that they also cannot live on that particular land. Is it? So it's a kind of punishment given to them. So because of the torture, okay, they have decided as people become aged, they'll send them to that particular mountain. Clear? Here one story will get about one farmer, what he has done to his mother, and how his mother was, how his mother is, and everything means related with the town, how the mother, that aged mother, can help the town. That also will come to know here. Okay, so as I said that the story will be related to a folk tale, related with the folk tale Japanese specially. Okay, and as I said in short, what is the story about? Let's start. What is there? Clear? What is the story first? Long, long ago in Japan, as I said, Japanese folk tale, she used to transform. So, long, long ago in Japan, there was a small state ruled by a young feudal. Feudal lord means what? Who are the owner of lands, especially the landlord. They known as feudal lord, who hated old people. As I said, aged old people, he hated a lot. What a great nuisance. Nuisance means what? You just write down the meaning. You have to learn it. I Nuisance meaning a person or thing. Here especially person. So I'll write just person. A person that causes inconvenience or annoyance. Inconvenience or annoyance. Okay, here I am writing particularly a person. Can be a thing also. Okay, can disturb a lot, means disturbed a lot. Okay, so what a great nuisance those old folks are, he cried. According to him, those old people are very annoying person. They don't have any work. They can neither walk nor think, are utterly useless, and should all die after they are 61. So according to him, they are just nuisance, means doesn't have any work, annoying person. They cannot think properly, they cannot do any work properly. So according to him, they cannot just live. What to do? If they turn into 61, they have to die. That is his rule. His thinking, his thought and thinking is like that only. So he issued a decree. It is already there in your book. What is decree? Decree means a rule made by someone. As he is the owner of that particular landlord, so he made that decree. Okay, what? That threatened that whoever broke it would be punished most severely. So he said, whoever will not follow that thing, that the person who turned into 61 have to be sent on that particular mountain, or is they have to die. They cannot live after 61. So whoever will break it, what happened? They'll get the severe punishment. Okay. Oh, what a cruel feudal lord he was. I was thinking that how a person can be so cruel, but before means some times ago, as it is said long long ago, means that generation are actually like that. Okay, people are very crucial, especially the landlord, king and all. Okay, so we have to think on that part. How his people feared him. People all are fearing, afraiding about that. The terrified people weeping and sorrowful, all are weeping and very sad. Now suppose you think, if it has happened till now, what we can do? We cannot take our grandparents with us, as this is the rule. As they turn into 61, they have to go there, they have to die anyhow. Is it? So it is very painful to think. Just think about this, though it is a story, but think about the reality. Okay, if it is happened with us, what we can do? Were forced to take their old parents when they become 61 to the dense forest. on the high mountain near the city and leave them in the cold and rain at the mercy of wild animals. See the pathos of that. When people become old age. So it is very pathetic to think about all this. No, how pathetic that. See, think about the pathos that how uh, old people means in old age people needs care. Think about your grandparents; they need care from you, is it? But on that age, what they are doing? They are sending them or they are forcing them to be died and all, is it? So it is happening here also. So they left them in the cold and rain, the mercy of wild animals. So this mountain came to be known as the mountain that ate people. So now that is the reason why the mountain name has like this. Why the mountain that ate people? Why it has given? Because of that only, is it? Because of that only. Because while people turned into 61, they are forced to send on that particular mountain and they leave them on the mercy of wild animals, cold and rain. Okay, so because of that, the mountain has named like that. Soon there was hardly any old people left. So one by one they are going there. So very less old people are there. And the feudal lord was jubilant. That is also there in your book. What is that? Extremely happy. Extremely happy to be like that in his land without old people. As according to him, old people are just burden. Old people are just useless. They don't have any work. They can't think properly. They can't do work properly. So as there is no old people left in his country, land, town, so he is very happy, extremely happy, jubilant. It is already there in your book. Just learn it. Okay. Now, my state will surely prosper. So according to him, if there is no old people, that means his land will prosper. And we are all young and energetic and have no aged folk to hinder and trouble. As according to him, old people are just related with what? Hindrance, trouble, annoyance. So, as there is no old people in that land, so his land will definitely prosper. Now there was a farmer who lived with his mother and loving her dearly, never did anything without her advice. So this is a story of a farmer. He lived with his mother and without mother's advice he didn't do any work. He is loving her dearly, means extremely. But alas, everyone grows old with time. He is just worried about this because his mother also will be turned into 61. Then what he will do? He is very worried about this. Next sentences will just get that point only. Soon his mother too turned 61. And since they had lived in the village all their lives, it was impossible to hide her age. So all are living in the same village. How can he hide his mother's age? Cannot be. How terribly upset the poor farmer was. See the expression. Farmer was so terrible. It's exclamatory sentence. Okay, so father was so terribly upset. He was feeling very hopeless here. Even at night he tossed and turned, cannot sleep properly, and worried and fear. Till one day the mother called him and said, "Son, I am now 61. Mother herself has said that I have turned 61. So now mother also understood the time has occurred. Please take me quickly to the mountain and leave me there. Mother knows everything." So she said like that. The longer you delay, the more miserable you shall be. As it is said, if anyone has broken that rule, what will be that? Condition will be very pathetic. So she said like that, and the heartless Lord will punish you fearfully. Mother is so worried as mother is mother only. Mother is mother only, no? She's very worried. Don't be sad for me since we must all die someday. This is the sentence mother only can say. That everyone has to be die. No one can live here lifetime. So as I turned in 61, so one day I'll go, I'll die. So better to just maintain the rule and leave me there in the mountain. Otherwise, the Lord will be very fearfully Is it? Very punishment will be very fearfully. Oh mother, forgive me, sobbed the unhappy man. I cannot do this. Son is so worried. He said that I cannot do, ma. I cannot do. So please forgive me. I cannot do. But because of her insistence, he agreed to take her at last. But what can he do? As it is the rule, so he carried him up the mountain. Since she was unable to go up by herself, she cannot walk by herself, so he took her up on his back and with tears trickling down his face, climbed up silently and slowly. So he's crying, sobbing, pain is there, but then also he has to maintain the rule. So he took up her on back and look, face is down and just climbing the mountain slowly and silently. A narrow path wound up through dark and desolate forest. The forest is desolate, no one is there, like a desert it is. And gradually, even the trail could hardly be seen in the falling dusk. Could not see anything as dusk evening time. The farmer had to part the tall grasses and lift the overhanging foliage as he climbed higher and higher. As mountain, deserted mountain, so leaves are here and there. Okay, cannot walk properly, dense. He has to just cross the grasses, then only he can make the path properly to go to the mountain. So he's just making the path. Crack! Suddenly the old mother perched on his back, broke off a twig from a tree. So mother just broke off a twig from a tree. Indeed. Now the suspense occurred. Why mother has broke that twig? After this, we'll come to know. It's just a mystery. That mother is very worried about the son. We'll come to know about this. Mother is very worried about the son. That he will leave her there on that particular mountain, but he has to return to the village. How will return? So he's just cracking or breaking the twigs so that he can make the way. The son can return on that particular. Okay, so in the next class we'll just go through the text. For me, the text is very interesting. If you go through like this, you'll also get some interest. Okay, and as I said, one video you'll get extra where I'll just discuss about your doubts. Some questions you raised, that doubts you will get there all together, chapter 1 and chapter 2. I'll say those questions are a little bit tricky, you have to write, so I'll just discuss on that. Okay, and apart from this, just go through this chapter with the meanings. Two meanings I wrote here to learn with this, and others you will get at book only. So go through with this, and about the chapter, if you get any doubt, just ask me. Definitely I'll solve it. And after this, just read out. It's very interesting. Okay, thank you class.